Somewhere in New Jersey, behind unassuming brick walls, a group of scientists were quietly inventing the future. Not just one future, but the key future, the one we live in now. Imagine a single institution where the transistor, the laser, Unix, and the C programming language all sprung to life. A place where the mathematical bedrock of digital communication was laid, and the very concept of cellular networks was born. This wasn't some government black project, nor a university experiment. This was Bell Labs, funded by a telephone monopoly, and for a few golden decades, it was arguably the most inventive place on Earth. But how did a seemingly mundane phone company manage to foster such an explosion of genius? What unique conditions allowed for such unprecedented innovation? And why, despite its monumental legacy, has nothing quite like Bell Labs ever emerged since? Our story begins not in a laboratory, but in a living room in 1876, with Alexander Graham Bell's patent for the telephone. This invention, a marvel of its time, quickly gave rise to an empire, the Bell system. By 1885, American Telephone and Telegraph, or AT&T, was established to weave together the long-distance lines that would connect a growing nation. This wasn't just about making calls, it was about building an entirely new nervous system for society. The scale was immense, the engineering challenges unprecedented. To manage this colossal endeavor, AT&T and its manufacturing arm, Western Electric, needed a dedicated hub for research and development. So in 1925, Bell Telephone Laboratories was officially born, consolidating all their scientific and engineering might under one roof. They quickly built a unique culture. Mervyn Kelly, a visionary president, intentionally designed buildings with long hallways, a deliberate architectural choice to force scientists and engineers from different disciplines to bump into each other, sparking spontaneous conversations and planting seeds for unexpected collaborations. It was a place where brilliant minds, given immense freedom and resources, were encouraged to think decades, not quarters, ahead. They were, in essence, an industrial university, funded by a guaranteed stream of income from every phone call made across America. This unprecedented funding model, however, harbored a deep contradiction. Bell Labs thrived because AT&T was a protected, regulated monopoly. The U.S. government allowed AT&T to control nearly all telephone services, believing a single unified network was essential for national infrastructure. In return, AT&T committed to universal service and, crucially, to reinvesting a portion of its profits into research for the public good. But this very structure, this stable, unchallenged power, also made AT&T a target. Critics argued that a monopoly stifled competition and innovation, even as Bell Labs was proving the exact opposite. The tension was inherent. Could such a powerful, singular entity truly serve the public interest, or was it simply too big, too dominant, and ultimately anti-competitive? Despite these looming antitrust clouds, the mid-20th century saw Bell Labs enter its golden age. The 1940s became a crucible of innovation. First, in 1947, a team led by physicists John Bardeen, Walter Brattain, and the brilliant yet notoriously volatile William Shockley demonstrated the first working transistor. This tiny device, a semiconductor, was a revolution waiting to happen. It could amplify electronic signals and act as a switch, replacing bulky, power-hungry vacuum tubes. This single invention would shrink electronics, pave the way for microprocessors, and fundamentally reshape computing in every aspect of modern life. Just a year later, in 1948, another Bell Labs luminary, Claude Shannon, published his landmark paper, A Mathematical Theory of Communication. Claude Shannon, a mathematician who famously built juggling robots and mechanical gadgets for fun, laid down the mathematical framework for digital communication itself. His work defined bits, bandwidth, and noise, creating the very language we use to understand data today. He essentially told us what information is and how to send it perfectly, forming the bedrock for everything from the internet to your smartphone. The sheer volume and profound impact of these simultaneous breakthroughs were staggering, a testament to the concentrated genius Bell Labs had assembled. But the story of Bell Labs isn't just one of relentless scientific triumph. It's also a story of human ambition, rivalries, and unexpected consequences. Take William Shockley, the leader of the transistor project. While instrumental in its invention, his management style was notoriously abrasive. He eventually left Bell Labs to start his own semiconductor company in California, Shockley Semiconductor. He sought to replicate the Bell Labs magic, but his harsh treatment of employees led to a famous revolt. 8 of his brightest engineers, the traitorous 8, left to form Fairchild Semiconductor, which in turn spawned Intel and dozens of other startups. This exodus, fueled by Bell Labs' very own intellectual progeny, became a crucial, if unintended, catalyst for the birth of Silicon Valley itself. By the late 1960s and early 1970s, Bell Labs continued its incredible run, laying the foundations for the digital age. In 1969, computer scientist Ken Thompson and his colleagues began work on a revolutionary operating system, Unix. Designed for flexibility and portability, Unix would go on to influence Linux, Mac OS, Android, and nearly every internet server. Then in the early 1970s, Dennis Ritchie, another Bell Labs genius, developed the C programming language. C became the lingua franca of systems programming, powering everything from operating systems to embedded devices, its efficiency and power making it indispensable even today. Simultaneously, Bell Labs researchers were developing many of the foundational concepts for cellular networks, envisioning a world where everyone carried a phone, connected wirelessly. The lab's innovations weren't just theoretical, they powered real-world leaps, like the 1962 Telstar project, which enabled one of the first live transatlantic television broadcasts. Bell Labs was not merely inventing components, it was architecting the entire technological landscape of the coming century. The world was being rebuilt, line by line of code and circuit by circuit, all from that one remarkable campus. For decades, this golden age continued, but the antitrust clouds that had always shadowed AT&T finally broke. In 1982, after years of legal battles, the U.S. government ordered the breakup of the Bell system. The telecommunications giant, deemed too powerful, too monopolistic, was formally split into smaller, regional operating companies in 1984. Bell Labs survived this corporate seismic shift, but its structure and funding model were irrevocably altered. It transitioned through various corporate parents, including Lucent Technologies and later Nokia. While it continued to produce groundbreaking research, including work recognized by Nobel Prizes in 1998 and 2016 for advancements in quantum physics and topological phases of matter, the unique ecosystem that fostered its earlier wide-ranging creativity began to fray. The stable, long-term funding, the intellectual freedom divorced from immediate commercial pressures gradually diminished. The age of the industrial university gave way to a more commercially focused research environment. Bell Labs stands as a powerful, singular experiment in human ingenuity. It demonstrates that with a unique confluence of stable, long-term funding, intellectual freedom, and a deliberate culture of interdisciplinary collaboration, a corporate entity can become a crucible for world-changing innovation. It shows us the extraordinary power of patiently investing in pure research, even if the immediate application isn't clear. Our modern world, from the smartphone in your pocket, powered by transistors and Unix-derived operating systems relying on information theory and cellular networks, is a direct descendant of the ideas born at Bell Labs. Its legacy forces us to ask, what have we lost in the modern pursuit of quarterly returns and immediate commercialization? Can another institution, public or private, ever replicate the conditions that allowed one laboratory in New Jersey to invent the future, one breakthrough at a time? If Bell Labs' incredible story sparked your curiosity, consider sharing your thoughts on what lessons its unique model might hold for innovation today. What do you think contributed most to its success? And do you believe anything similar could be built again?